Ian McKellen is one of the most talented actors I've witnessed on screen, and he plays one of the most iconic characters created. And over the years, he's done very few interviews, but one he did many years ago has resurfaced and has resonated with so many people, where he talks about how his job as an actor is not to presume to tell the audience what to think ever in anything I do. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted, and of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So it says, actor Ian McKellen, who played Gandalf in Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings film trilogy, shared that he would never presume to tell audiences what to think ever in anything I do. And this is a major issue that people have with current day actors and just kind of Hollywood in general. Everybody has their own opinion, which is perfectly fine. Whether you're an actor, a director, a producer, you are allowed to have your own opinion. But the issue is that all of these creatives think my opinion is the best one. What I believe in should be the one that other people should believe in. So let's make them see things my way, which almost never works out. People get upset, it divides people, and then you've got half of a fan base who is angry at you for doing it, and then half of the fan base who is angry at the other people for not accepting it. It just divides, and it never works. It says his comments came back in 2003 when promoting The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. His comments were recently re-uploaded by Jonathan Watson and shared to his YouTube channel, The One Ring. McKellen was asked by a reporter, what is the one message that you would like the audiences to get? The one thing that will be the legacy of the Lord of the Rings movies? And his answer was truly perfect. He said, I wouldn't presume to tell an audience what to think ever in anything I do. I'm not a politician. I'm not a pamphleteer. I'm an actor, and I work on behalf of the people who do the writing, who have the message. From there, he explained his role as an actor. My job is not to tell the audience anything. It's to just explain the person I'm playing beyond the side of the character I'm playing. Good or bad, I don't judge character. And this is what we want to see more. That's why this has gone kind of viral again, why so many people are talking about it and ultimately praising it, because this is such a good statement, and this is not the mentality that actors have nowadays. When we're talking about actors nowadays, we're talking about the Rings of Power cast who believe there is a message in the Rings of Power, and that's that, anybody can be powerful, anybody can play this type of character. It's so strong and powerful and inclusive. And of course, there are people who disagree, people who do not like the things that they've said in the way that they've said them, because they act like our writing is better because, of course, it's more inclusive, it's more diverse. Tolkien never wrote things this way, so we had to change it because we needed to represent the modern day, which is a massive issue for people. And then you go beyond, Lord of the Rings, and you get into something like Snow White, and of course the infamous now Rachel Zegler, who says, I thought the original Snow White was weird, I thought that it was creepy, I thought the prince was a stalker, but luckily in my new Snow White it's not gonna be that way. All these actors do is ultimately divide the people that they need to show up and swipe their credit card to consume product. But when you hear someone like Ian McKellen say something like this, it's such a breath of fresh air. Even though it's not a new interview, it is resonating with people. This article also brings up several of the projects we've had over the past year alone and going into the next year, where you have actors and creatives who have, ultimately divided people by wanting to tell you what to take away from their movie, what you think about the movie. It says actress Kate McKinnon explained that to Fandango ahead of Barbie's release that the script was about how, like, gender roles deny people half their humanity and how, like, we need to just be ourselves. And it's a very powerful message. If your message in a movie is clear and it makes sense to the story, then you don't need to go into interviews and explain your position and explain how things are happening and what message you should take away. I should be able to leave the theater and go, wow, I got that message loud and clear. It's one that I can resonate with, but that's not what they do anymore. Creatives are so not confident in their work. They're so nervous about their creations. They can't just let them stand on their own and speak for themselves. Of course, most of what they're creating is trash nowadays, so I completely understand, but they have no confidence in their creation, so they send actors and actresses into these interviews to reinforce what the messaging is in the movie, which just makes me question, why are you creating a movie in the first place when you could have simply written a blog post or gone into, an interview or put up a video where you explain your stances on the way the world works? Like, that's not what people want. Simu Liu had actually told Screen Rant, I'm so glad that this movie exists because I think it puts the final nail in the coffin of the very heteronormative idea of what gender is and what is or is not gendered. How can you make a color gendered, I think that most people will always view pink as a feminine color, blue as a masculine color. It's kind of embedded in us at this point, and I personally don't think that that is an issue. I don't think that's a problem. No one's telling boys you can't wear pink. No one's telling girls you can't wear or enjoy the color blue. It's just the way that it is. But of course, these people want the modern world to be a different place. And then, of course, one of the most notable actresses who has done this with their movie lately is Snow White. As for Rachel Zegler promoting Snow White, the actress has made it abundantly clear what kind of messages moviegoers should take away from the film. She had said that the romance angle in the 37 animated was weird, that the prince was a stalker and he was creepy simply for having to, actually pay attention to Snow White and what she was doing with her life, and actually had to, listen to the dwarves. It's kind of a weird angle. She said that that movie was scary and creepy and just kind of weird all around because the guy stalks her. She said the new one is not going to be a love story. She said that this one is basically filled to the brim with feminism because Snow White is no longer a damsel in distress. She's a strong woman who's trying to take back her father's kingdom and, free the fairy tale living creatures from oppression. It's just blah, 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 blah. And that's all that we've heard from her, and it's ruining any kind of positive image that this film would have. And of course, we don't even know when this movie is going to come out. It was slated for March 2024, but at this point it seems like it's going to be delayed more because of the writer strike that is going on. Again, even though this is not a, new interview, I still feel like this these quotes from Ian McKellen resonate so deeply with people now because we're constantly having to hear about, and I constantly have to talk about actors and actresses and creatives dividing the audiences because of the messaging they think you need to take away from it in order to enjoy it. And if you don't like the messaging, well, don't consume the product. If you don't like it, don't buy it. And it's so nice to hear an actor just explain that at the end of the day, his job as an actor is to act. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.